Hello viewers, welcome again to another episode of Footprints on Soulhour TV. As you know, Footprints is designed to showcase some of our Ghanaian individuals who have gone against all odds in making remarkable footprints for our younger generation to emulate. Today, on today's show, we're going to be talking with none other than the very intelligent Mrs. Linda Owusu-Asare Boateng. Mrs. Linda is known for the Helios fame, and she is working on a different project now, and that we're going to talk about more later on. But before we continue, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our guest to this lovely program, Mrs. Linda Owusu-Asare Boateng. Thank you very much for honoring our request and taking the time out of your busy schedule. Before we start, is it okay if I call you Linda?
Yes, of course.
Yeah?
Thank you too for having me.
Okay, that's lovely. Well, before we continue, I do know you recently got married, and of course you are a graduate as well. So I would like to actually take this opportunity for you to also explain a little bit more to us how you like people or how you like to be addressed, let's say in the coming future.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question to start with. Well, I like to be called Linda. Linda is my name, and my husband's name is Owusu-Asare, and my dad's name is Boateng. But professionally, my name is Linda Boateng, and it's I think it's okay to keep Linda Boateng for work purposes for now. But I do know among my own people in the Ghanaian community, it's also good to keep my husband's name.
Yes.
So I really don't mind whatever people choose to call me, but professionally I'm Linda Boateng, and I like it to be called Linda.
Okay.
Linda is fine.
That's lovely, because obviously you will remain yourself.
Yes, I am.
So, well, the first question I would love to ask you is that I just find it like interesting to know more about the people that I talk with, and I was wondering, like, when did you arrive in the Netherlands?
Yeah. Well, for some people, some will say not too long ago, but for me it's been quite some time. It's been almost 6 years since I've been here. I came in to study, originally to study and also to join my family, because my dad, my mom and my sister have been here for so many years, and I was in Ghana studying. So after my bachelor's degree, I decided to come in here to study and also unite with my family that I've not been living with for long.
Okay,
Yeah.
then that must have been very lovely for you to be reunited with your entire family.
Yes.
Who are your parents? Where are they from?
Yeah, well, my mom is Mrs. Sofia Kisi Boateng, and my dad is Mr. Samuel Kwame Boateng. They have a very quiet family life, and I like it that way. Maybe in the community, in church-wise, people might know them because my mom worships at the Church of Pentecost, and my dad worships at the Presbyterian Church, and my sister is Mabel Boateng. There's just two of us, two cute girls. And my mom is from Kwewu, and my dad is Ashanti. So
Okay.
I'm half Kwewu and Ashanti.
That's an interesting combination, by the way.
It's a very good combination, I must say.
Well, it brought out lovely things, like you and your sister. So I believe you when you say it's a lovely combination.
Yeah.
Well, so what role did your parents play in your life? I mean, since they were here and you went to school in Ghana, what role did they play in the early stages of your life?
Very, very important, and I want to take this opportunity to thank them for bringing me this far, for making me who I am now, because they've contributed immensely, totally everything. For what I have become, I owe it to what my parents have contributed in my life. Right from the very infancy, I've been to good schools. I've had all the things I need to study. They were not with me when I was growing up. I was in the care of my mom's family. but they took care of me very well. My uncles, my aunties, my grandma, my late grandmom, they took care of me. I had all the things I need to study with. By the time my mom joined my dad, I was sent to boarding school. As a little girl, at age 10,
Ooh.
I was sent to boarding school.
Oh.
And I look back now and I enjoyed my life in boarding school at that time. It was a bit challenging because my parents were not here, but the environment in which I grew up was very supportive.
Okay.
And I was not in worrying as to I need school fees, I need books. Everything that I needed was provided for me, even sometimes ahead of the academic year. So it was a good thing that I went to boarding school. Boarding school kind of shaped my life. It gave me discipline. It structured me. I had a routine, some of which I still keep. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But I enjoy keeping it, like waking up early in the morning, dressing your bed because your house mistress will pass by to inspect it.
Yeah.
And I've grown up with this.
Yeah, I know that because I've been to boarding school myself. I started going to boarding school when I was in class 5 or something. So I know how it goes. I think it's very humble for you to actually pay a form of respect to your parents as you did right now. I think they deserve more than an applause for the great job that they've done on your behalf. I was interested in, what did you study in Ghana?
Yeah, I have loved science. So right from secondary school, I was studying general sciences. Then after secondary school, I enrolled for biological sciences.
Yeah.
During my time in the university, we started with just biological sciences with the hope of going to medical school. That's those of us coming from the SSS, that is a senior secondary school.
Yeah.
Now it's called senior high school.
Oh, really?
I think it's the same thing. Senior secondary school, senior high school, whatever, it's still the same. During that time, we had to go through the 4 years university period. So we started with biological sciences.
Yeah.
So it was just a smooth transition from what I was studying in secondary school to the university.
Okay.
But in the university, after my first year, when I missed going to medical school, even though I loved it, but I missed it, I had the opportunity to take on botany and biochemistry. So that was what I graduated with at the University of Ghana.
Okay. That's interesting. Well, I always try to let people know how amazing schooling is in Ghana, since I grew up in Ghana myself. So, since we are talking and we are on the school section, do you have any memory of something that happened back in school? I don't know whether JSS or SSS or uni.
A lot.
That you still keep with you.
Yes.
Would you like to share some?
I do have a lot of memories, and schooling in Ghana was actually fun. It was, I see it different from what we have here. You have a combination of more discipline. You still have freedom, but the discipline part is there. And especially when you are in boarding school, in secondary school, it's more fun.
Yeah.
We have what we call the inter-colleges. That's normally it's an organized competition between the schools. And I was in the Cape Coast region, so all the schools in Cape Coast, we do have inter-colleges. And then religiously, I had opportunity to join SUs, the Scripture Union, on campus, and that was also very fun. It was enjoyable. I learned a lot of my basic Christian principles from SU. So school in Ghana is it's not just only fun, but also disciplined. If you are following as a child and studying, you come out not only with what is learned in the classroom, but you learn quite a lot also outside the classroom. The organization, the friendship, that kind of thing, especially the morning prayers, the school assembly, the marchings.
And your socks have to be proper, your nails have to be proper, your hair has to be, and you have to be on time. Yes, I think
you do remember quite a lot.
Yes, I remember a lot. I think it actually prepares you for the rest of your life.
It does.
Boarding school.
Yes.
That, at least that's how I see it. So when you arrived in the Netherlands, what made you decide to continue with your studies? Because you already had a bachelor degree. So what made you decide to continue over here?
Yes, well, after my bachelor's, I decided right away to continue my studying, and I thought of not to wait too long, because once you've decided, then if the opportunity comes, you should take it.
Yeah.
And the other factor which was driving me was to join my family here. So I had a combi. At the time when I got admitted, it was also the right time to join my family. That's my parents. So the decision was there right after studying, right after I left University of Ghana. But the timing also came, the opportunity came at the right time.
Okay.
Not too long after my bachelor's. And I think it's important if you have decided that you want to continue with your studies, that you don't, once you have decided and you have the motivation, you don't wait too long. That's what I've learned. If you wait too long, it's sometimes you may lose the enthusiasm of going back to study, because if you wait too long, going back to study might be very difficult for you.
I can understand that. So how did you experience the schooling system over here?
It was different. At first it was challenging. I must admit that although the education system in Ghana was more disciplined and more structured, we didn't have that much facilities to study as we do have here. So it would surprise you that we learned a lot, like computer things, even at the University of Ghana. But when I came here, it was a whole new level for me. I remember the very first time we had a teamwork. We have a project. Every course, like every subject you take, there is kind of this team project work, and this one is doing this one is doing that. And my part was to prepare a presentation. And it was challenging for me. I knew what was PowerPoint. I knew where to click that, but I have never done any kind of presentation till I left University of Ghana. It was challenging, but I had a colleague who helped me, and I thank God that today, thanks to the facilities here, presentation has been one of my best skills. So in Ghana, we miss the facilities. Like library is there as a building, but the books are not in there. Here you have computer on campus, you have books, teacher is providing you with materials. Almost everything you need to study, you have it here. In Ghana, if you want to excel, you do more as a student. But here, I think you are given more, but the challenge is for you as a student just to sit and study. That's true. But Ghana is different.
Yeah, that's true. I think studying in Ghana is more like about reading. You have to read properly. And here it's like everything is pre-chewed for you, so all you have to do is just swallow it in. That makes it then also a bit sad that people don't actually take advantage of these opportunities that's being given to them.
The education system here has its challenges as well, because you have an enormous supply of knowledge, of information. You can go online for library. School library is online.
Yeah, that's true.
You can go to bookshops. You can buy books at discount prices. Teachers are providing you with study materials. So the challenge here, I think, is for the student to choose which is of importance. You could have a whole list of books prescribed to use at a particular point, but you need to choose which one is necessary for you. But in Ghana, it's not a matter of choice. It's more of the survivor. It's he who survives I mean, you have to go and fish for the information. I remember one time at the BAM Library, University of Ghana, one of our lecturers asked us to go and look for a book. It's one of the science big books. And when we got there, a friend of mine, we went to the library and we expected on the shelf the book number and everything. The book was there, but to your surprise, because it's just one book, and we were like 500 in the class. Ooh. So the people who got there first had taken the book, and because it was an old book, they've taken out what the lecturer asked them to take out. They didn't sit there to read. They took it out.
They took it along with them.
Exactly.
That means when you come, you will find the book, but you won't find any information.
You won't have it. And it's just one book. But here you have the book like in numbers. So it's a challenge when you're studying in Ghana.
Yeah. Okay. Well, after all these, because I'm sure, did you encounter any challenges that made you actually think like, maybe it wasn't such a good idea to continue the studies here? I mean, here you have the language, then you have this, then you have that. Did you ever encounter anything that made you think like, maybe I should take a few steps back?
Yes, very, very much. I had a lot of challenges, especially with the language. Apart from coming to a warm home with nice smiling faces at home, but at school you have the challenge with the language. Although my course was an international master's, so everything was in English, but sometimes your colleagues are Dutch students, and when you have things to study with them together, they prefer to be among themselves, and they wouldn't want to share with you, especially not just because you don't speak their language, also because you are different. So you need to find your like. And during my time at the Free University, we were like, I was the only Ghanaian in my class, and there were 2 Nigerian guys, and that was it. We were the only black people in the whole class, and it was difficult. And we also didn't want to group ourselves, because if we group, we need to learn. And when you mix with the white people, you learn. So the language was a challenge, and the studying was also a challenge, because it was a bit fast track for me. I was getting used to the rhythm, because in Ghana, because you are on campus, like you're on campus, you live there, so that's what you are studying all your time. But here I had the challenge of coming home and then going back, that kind of thing. Though it was less of my challenges, but the main challenge was to actually mingle with my Dutch colleagues. Yes.
Okay. So since it was quite challenging, what motivates you? What is your drive? What pushes you to push it to this limit that you have actually managed to pull off?
I set up my mind that come what may, I want to get out of school as soon as possible on track. So even though I had the challenges, I decided that if I need to sit on my own to study, I will do it. If I need to stay long hours at night to study, I will do it. If I need to find help, I will ask for help, because I didn't want to start and then leave in between. I want to finish on time. My studying program was for 2 years. I even changed my subject actually, because I started with biological sciences, but I ended up doing public health. So in my second year, I switched courses, and I had 1 year to finish.
Wow!
But I did that in 1.5 years. So even though I changed programs, I was motivated personally to finish on time. That idea that when I start something, I want to finish it. I didn't want to leave things behind. That was my main drive.
So as it's just I was wondering, because as a child, was it your idea or did you like dream? Because some people, since childhood, then they dreamt of becoming a pilot. Was this your dream to become a scientist? That's basically where you're heading.
Yes, actually, science will always be my first, second, and third choices.
Okay.
I didn't want anything outside science, actually. Public health research, what I do now, is in science, and if I should leave my current occupation, I would prefer to do something still in science, something like forensic science or criminology. I like investigating. I like to know why.
So you're nosy.
I am nosy. I am the quiet nosy. I don't pop into where I'm not required, but I like to investigate. So one of the things I love, especially on TV, is CSI. I like crime scene investigation. So I like to investigate. I want to know why, what people are thinking. I want to research. So even if I stay out of public health research now, I think I would come around the same thing. I would choose something investigative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something similar.
Something
that would just keep you nosing about.
Yes.
Digging.
Still always want to know.
Yes. No, but that's good. You know, people that are willing to always learn something new are actually the people that because every day they collect information and then they process it so they can actually use it when the time comes that information they collected before is appropriate. So then we'll go to the next section, which is your professional life. What is your current profession? Because I know I read your profile and you are a health researcher, but what does your job entails? What do you do exactly?
Yeah, I am a public health researcher. We have lots of research. We have business research, and then mine is in health. What we do as public health research, I work at the public health section of IMC, and what we do a whole lot of health research. Public health actually is an organized effort, not only for the professional but also for the community. So we expect that the community works hand in hand with us. If we are looking for information, we expect that the community will be cooperative. Then they make our work easier because we ask questions, we investigate. So if the people we are investigating are not cooperative, then we are not working. So what we do as public health research for now in my main area is to investigate what make people sick. That's the layman's way. Why are people getting sick of these particular diseases? How best can we stop it? How best can we prevent it or make it decrease? So through health promotion, telling people about healthy living, through telling them the seriousness of the disease so that those who are careless would be more careful. Also promoting promoting healthy lifestyle, and also telling them about the issues about the disease, like the statistics, excuse me to say, how many are dying, how many are surviving, the risk factors. So that's in a nutshell what we do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have another question, but I would actually love for you to explain to me, as if I'm two, what is the difference between a health researcher and a doctor? Because I think people confuse the two all the time. So I'm 2 years old right now.
Yeah. I do have that challenge, not even for a 2-year-old, even for the older ones. And I try to say everywhere I go when I have the opportunity that I'm not a doctor. Because what I see among the Ghanaians is that as soon as you say you are a doctor, they're expecting that you could prescribe some kind of medicine for them or give them an injection. But that's not what we do as researchers, no. The medical doctor examines the person who is sick.
Yeah.
If I'm explaining to you like a 2-year-old.
Yes, I'm understanding.
When you are sick, you go to the doctor who examines you and give you a diagnosis and then prescribes medicine for you or asks you to be given an injection. But as researchers, we also examine sick people and healthy people.
Okay.
We investigate why you are sick and try to find solutions to it and then try to prevent it before it happens.
Okay.
So we do more preventive things, but the doctor is more like the curing. When the thing has happened, then he tells you, drink this, eat this, stop this, that, yes. But we are kind of, before it happens, don't do this, do that.
So actually, your work is more of that prevention is better than cure kind of idea.
Exactly.
Huh. See, that makes a whole lot of sense to me right now, honestly, because before I was thinking, yeah, but then the doctors have that, you know, doctors
have stethoscope.
Yeah.
That's a big word.
Oh my God. Okay, so as I indicated before, I wanted you to tell me more about the Helios project that you guys have done in the past. What is it exactly and what came out of it?
Yeah, actually in the past, about 2 years ago, we did a study called the Gaia study. That's the Ghanaians in Amsterdam, and in the study we investigated the general health conditions of Ghanaians, and we only sampled 200 people, just 200 people, well, a little over 200 people. And what we found out, one of the striking things that shocked us was that there was so much high, many people had high blood pressure, that's hypertension. And we didn't know.
Was this the older generation or the younger generation?
Well, we kind of had a mixed sample, but we kind of see it more with the older generation. But there is still ongoing investigations, and it might surprise you that we do have children who have high blood pressure. But among the Ghanaians, it's more for the older generations, at least from the Gaia study.
Okay.
So we wanted to find out more. So we were looking for an opportunity to find out why people have high blood pressure. And there was a study, there was a proposal that came up. What we now have, the Helios study. So Ghanaians were included in the Helios study. The Helios study is healthy life in an urban setting, and there are 6 groups we are investigating. We are investigating the white Dutch people, the Moroccans, the Turks, the Surinamese, that's the crew, and the Hindustans, and the Ghanaians are involved as well. For the Ghanaians, we do know from Gaia study, that's the study before, of these conditions like the high blood pressure, for instance. So in Helios, we haven't finished with Helios.
Okay.
We've just started actually. So in Helios, we want to know what causes, for instance, this high blood pressure. Why are people having high blood pressure? Is it stress? Is it financial situation? Is it eating? Whatever. That's what we want to find out from the Helios study. And Ghanaians have been involved for the past, let's say, 7 months now. So it's going to be till the end of next year to still invite people to come for us to know more. Then we can tell them what we found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very important for people to actually support you in doing this, because to find out the reasons or the cause of these things will actually save lots of lives.
Yes.
In the past few months, we've experienced so many deaths in the community, and I think what you're doing is actually life-saving. I don't mind becoming one of your
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is a way we are using to invite people. We don't ask people to come to us. We invite them.
Okay.
So there is a list where we are inviting people in Amsterdam. So we use the Gemeentes list. They give us the list of people registered in Amsterdam, and we send out invitations every week to invite people to participate. The more people participate, the more we will know. Because if it's like statistics, if you say just 2 people out of 1,000 are sick, someone may not take you serious.
Yeah.
But if you say 900 out of 1,000 are sick of this kind of disease, then the policymakers would want to do something about it.
Yeah.
So the more people participate, the more we could kind of advocate for something to be done about the situation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll use this medium to encourage participation, young or old. If you are given an invitation, please try and participate in the Healer study.
Yes, please try and participate in the Healer study. Okay, so then I will ask another question. Obviously, I have you at my exposure, so I have to ask you all the questions that I would want to. If you hadn't been a health researcher at all, is there any other kind of profession that you would have fancied or loved to do? And not in science. Outside science.
Well, you set me thinking.
Well, okay, that's good.
You set me thinking because it's I've always thought inside science. But I love teaching.
Okay.
I love teaching. I like to impact whatever knowledge I have. So maybe if I come outside the science box,
then you
I would
teach
love
science.
to teach. I would teach science.
you will still.
I would still remain in science.
You will still be in the same field.
Well, it's different. It's one thing when you're teaching, and it's one thing when you are investigating.
Sort of different. It's
You
just
set me thinking, actually.
Well, viewers, we're gonna take this opportunity and take some nice glimpse of Linda here about her childhood and some interesting stuff that she have done in the past. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. At this section, we're gonna continue our conversation with Linda here. It has been very interesting so far, and this section is gonna be about her family life. And fortunately for me, I happen to have witnessed this lovely lady's wedding. So, Linda, how are you coping with being a researcher and a wife at the same time?
Yeah, that's a very good question and very interesting one, of course. For now, I'm managing. It's not a challenge. At work, we have a very busy timetable because we do both on field and also at office. And at home, I try to be the wife I should be. If I need to cook, I cook. If I have an appointment, I try to do my house chores at a convenient time so I could be there for my appointment. And my husband has been very cooperative. He's been very supportive as well. So it's not a very strict household. If there is food, there is food. If there is no food, he could also get around the kitchen.
Okay.
So
no,
it's not.
That means you have a lovely husband.
Okay,
because
thank you.
At least I'm not married, but I do know that it's not every guy or man that loves to stand in the kitchen and cook for themselves. They prefer their wives to, to serve them. And yes, so I see. From the way you responded to the question, it was obvious you are enjoying your marriage at the moment. Yes,
I am.
Okay, then do you guys have any plans of expanding the family anytime soon?
Yes. Well, the sooner the better, talk.
Okay.
So
That's true.
we do have plans, and we hope that they will come soon, so that we could have our life. Yeah.
Okay. So I know being a researcher is a bit demanding. When things get heavy or tough, do you have a form of support system that is helping you get through the difficult times?
Yes, at work we work in a team, so everybody has a part to play. So it's not overburdened that one person is doing everything. And at home, my husband, for now, he understands, because we are just two. If there are kids, then I hope they would also understand. He understands the nature of my work. So whenever I need any kind of support at work, when I'm not able to be there, a colleague of mine covers it up, and at home, so it's not a challenge for now. Okay, I could say, yeah.
That's good. Well, viewers, we've come to another section of this program, which is the general issues and advice section. Since you just got married, I was wondering, what do you think of marriage itself, in general?
Marriage, I think it's a divine institution that God has made between a man and a woman. And I think God himself has designed it. So the life for the two of you, the life itself, the family around you, the friends around you are all supportive. But the real business is between you and the man, or the man and the woman. Yeah. So marriage is something, I see it as a divine thing. It's I wouldn't want to joke around it. It's not for fun. It's a very serious business. It's a very structured thing God has made, that we shouldn't be playing around with.
From what you said, as in, it's a serious business and you shouldn't be joking around with it. Well, we've seen in our community, like for the past few years, let me say 3-4 years, that weddings or marriages are basically happening every weekend or every now and then. And it has become a worry for some people, because now people are actually wondering, are these people getting married because they understand the impact of it being a divine something ordained by God, or is it just becoming a form of a fashion or a trend?
Well, this is hard to say, because in my own concept, I think what should drive two people to marry is love. I don't know, I can't give an explanation to why we do have these weddings or marriages of late, quite a lot of them. But I think that if two people are in love, maybe we are having many people in love around this season.
Maybe there's so much love in the air at the moment.
So that's why we do have lots of weddings around. But I think anything that should drive two people to be together in terms of marriage should be love. So if they are genuinely in love and they are getting married and having the ceremonies, then we celebrate with them. Yeah. So I hope it's for the reason of love that's putting people together. That's why we are seeing this. But I really don't know if there is any other reason, like people are feeling pressured and people think, oh, it's fun, the ceremony and the day, the thing. I think the ceremony and the day, it's actually a day. It's just for a day. The real work starts after that, and it's for a lifetime. So if people are enthused or happy about the day and the glamorous things about it, then it's not a good reason to be getting married. But more of, if it's for love, that people are in love, then we thank God that God is putting us together.
I love the way you explained it. It makes a whole lot of sense to me, actually. I'm not married, but I think it's amazing if people could actually understand the concept of getting married, because it won't make any sense if you do see it all about that one day and then afterwards, because that's where the work starts, that people don't actually make it afterwards, you know, and then maybe after a year or two, then they just decide to go their separate ways or something like that. Well, I hope our viewers and the younger ones will take note of what you just said, because I think it's very important. So that brings me to my next question. 5 years from now, if I should meet you again, who will I be addressing? How will I address you?
Well, I think I'm still Linda. My name Linda will still remain, but I am thinking that I have plans to climb high on my academic ambitions. So hopefully, I hope, trusting God as well, that I could have another title on my name.
So that means you will soar further, and then hopefully you would get a PhD.
Hopefully.
And then maybe you will then become like a teacher, as you had indicated before that you would love to. Because it seems like you have so much knowledge, and it's good that you can also
impact. Yeah. I think it's a good thing to share and to impact, to feel that I contributed to this person's life. But the ambitions I'm talking about, because in our field, until you earn a PhD, that's when you be called a doctor. So that's something I hope that in 5 years' time you could address me as such, and also practically to also do more. I could look back and say, oh, I have done this for my community. I've done this for my for work, not just for being there for money purposes, but also to have a name that lasts in the hearts and minds of people, that I contributed in finding out at least what is happening to us in terms of diseases.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wish you all the best, and I am 100% sure you will make it.
Thank you very much.
I believe in that. Well, viewers, thank you for joining us today again. And I hope that people will actually take a good look to this interview we had with Linda, because the things she said are very interesting, and the footprints that she has left behind are ones that are meant to be emulated by us, the young ones. So I urge all of you to actually take an example from this remarkable lady, and also remind our viewers that please, if you do receive an invitation for the Helios program, I beg, please and please and please again, do take it seriously and take part of it. Well, thank you for joining us today, and I hope to see you the next time with our next guest, the same time, right here on Soulhour TV. Good day.